Hi, I'm Lauren, and today I'm going to show you my biggest tips for painting more loosely and expressively. Take your biggest paintbrushes in your house. These are the kind of paintbrushes that we all used to use when we were kids, the really, really big ones. Find those, get them out, and these are the tools that you're going to be using to create your painting. For this painting today, I'm going to use a combination of different gouache colors as well as some acrylic colors. The best thing about creating paintings in a very loose and expressive way is that it really helps you get in touch with the way that we used to paint when we were children. We would always take the biggest paintbrushes and make the entire painting, regardless of whether there were small details, the entire painting would be made with this very, very big paintbrush. And I really love that way of creating because it was so free and so expressive. So as an adult, I think we tend to gravitate towards the small paintbrushes and the very fine details and making everything so controlled and structured, which is great. It's a perfect way to paint. But there are many different ways to paint, and this way really does help you free up and create art in just a really fun, exciting way that I definitely recommend giving a try. The painting that I'm going to be doing today is going to be using all of these different colors. It is of a flower vase by a window that is on a table. And this is a painting that I created to give as a gift to my mom for one of her birthdays. And I'm really excited about how it turned out. So I'm really excited to show you how to create a painting similar to this using these very big paintbrushes and painting very loosely and expressively. To start out, I'm going to take one of the big paintbrushes and one of my lighter shades of color and just very loosely mark out the basic shapes and lines of where all of the parts of this painting are. Next up, I'm going to take some of my background colors and mark in those colors very loosely in the background. As you can see, I'm really not too concerned about making the colors very flat. I'm just applying these colors. This is a base layer, so that is why I'm not thinking too much about it. I'm just putting some color onto the page. And this also helps you sort of get started on the process, because once you start to fill in and block out these different color areas, I think that it does help you feel more confident about the direction that the painting is going. For my flowers, I'm going to be doing the same kind of thing as the wall in the background, but this time I will be taking a little bit of white and also blending the white into the pink as I lay it down, so that it already starts to create a few variations of tones in the base layer of the flowers. So you'll see here we'll have a little bit of dark pink, a little bit of light pink, and a sort of medium tone, all kind of mixed within this initial layer of painting the flowers. would recommend looking at a good reference photo when you are making paintings like this. Unless you want to create an abstract, expressive and loose painting, then obviously you do not need a reference photo. But if you're creating a more specific scene, then I would suggest having a reference photo. And this also helps you kind of see, like with your eyes, really where the colors are, and with these big paintbrushes then being able to apply them in the spots that it is needed. Once you've blocked out all your basic shapes with some base layer of colors, then you can take your lighter tones of color, like for example here on the green, I'm using a white, and because the paint is still wet, I'm able to mix a sort of lighter green on the page, and just using the brush very expressively, very loosely to create the texture of a mat, which is what was on the table there. There's really no rules with creating paintings in a loose and expressive way. The key characteristic of creating painting this way is to really just loosen up and have some fun. So you are free to stop your painting wherever you want. I think as a child, I probably would have stopped it somewhere here with just the basic shapes having some color. But now, knowing that I have this reference photo and having a better look at it, I'm able to see that there are some areas that require a little bit more detail. So I'm using the color in different ways. I'm sometimes dabbing the color on. I'm sometimes making lines with the color just to add some extra detailing. And using the brush in different ways does help create and build up some extra textures onto these loose and expressive paintings. I find that this way of painting is really nice to do if you don't have a lot of time on your hands, but you still want to create a painting. Using these bigger paintbrushes really helps speed up the process, and after like say 15 minutes, you'll already have a decent structure or base for a painting that you can always come back to or build onto, or even just leave at it as it is. as you can see here, to finish off the final touches on this painting, I am using some white and just adding some areas of highlight and kind of where the light would be shining onto the different parts of this scene. I could see very clearly in the reference photo where this was, and that helped me be able to apply these bits of color really quickly and not think too much about it. And this is how the final painting turned out. I hope that you found this video helpful and that you too give this expressive and loose painting using big paintbrushes. That's the biggest tip here, is use a big paintbrush. It really does help loosen your brush strokes and just help you have some fun when painting, and just get out your head and create a really beautiful painting that generally tends to turn out pretty cool. So thanks so much for joining me here today. I'll see you again soon.